What's going on, Giants fans? Welcome back to Bloom Bold, and obviously we all know what happened earlier today. Following an embarrassing loss by the Washington Commanders, this whole fan base is just, I know we all should just be used to this by now, right? We all get hyped during the offseason, and then our hopes get crushed by an embarrassing Week 1 loss. We all remember the 40-0 loss to the Dallas Cowboys at home at MetLife. I just want to forget about that day. But yeah, a lot of things to go over, so I'm gonna just get right into it. Russell Wilson, uh, you know, it was an embarrassing performance by him. 17 for 37, 168 yards. I believe he only had like 60 yards passing going into the half. 0 TDs, 0 picks. I believe one of them was supposed to be a pick, but it got called back by a defensive holding, I believe. 8 rushes for 44 yards. So on the ground game, he wasn't horrible. Evading pressure and all that. Jane Daniels, on the other hand, he was way more efficient. He got 19 completions on 30 attempts, 233 yards, 1 TD. He rushed 11 times for 68 yards. So he was just he was the complete opposite of Russell Wilson today. Just much more efficient, just much better than him in general, I believe. We were all hoping that as Giants fans or any Cowboys or Eagles fans were hoping that Jalen Daniels would have a sophomore slump. I believe the rest of the league was believing that he would have a sophomore slump, but I just think that it's just not going to happen. Especially on this Giants defense, we're expecting this to be a top 10 defense, and Cliff Kingsbury and their offense just walked right through us, right? So, yeah, just disappointing, going in for all the hype and training camp and stuff like that. The running backs, Tyrone Tracy, just a non-factor in this game. 10 carries, 24 yards, averaging 2.4, no TDs. One on the other hand, the rookie, I don't even know how to say his name. I believe his name is Krosky Merritt. Promising running back coming out of college. 10 carries, 84 yards, 8.4 yards a carry, and a TD. I believe the TD was just a straight walk-in. There was no contesting whatsoever in the end zone. Zach Ertz continues to own us, getting a TD, whatever team he's in. It could be the Cardinals, the Eagles, and now the Commanders. Getting just whatever he feels like. 3 receptions on 5 targets, 26 yards, and a TD. Theo Johnson, he literally only had 1 reception for 5 yards. I believe he had a few drops and a couple of wide open ones too, and no TDs. So just disappointing from Theo Johnson. We all believed that he was gonna have a breakout season. There's still the whole season to do that, but it's not a good start for him if that's what we want. Because we know what he could be. We know the athlete he is coming out of Penn State. Just a large athletic dude, and we're hoping we was hoping he was the answer at tight end. He still could be, but we will see in these next 15 or 16 games. Malik Neighbors, he got open many times. Malik Neighbors is going to be Malik Neighbors. He's always going to be an amazing player, but we were just not able to get him the ball. We targeted him 12 times, 5 receptions, 71 yards. So statistically not a horrible game, but obviously it did not contribute to any wins. Deebo Samuel, his first game as a Commander, he had 7 receptions, 10 targets, 77 yards. Just a good game from him in general. Terry McLaurin, actually, he was being guarded by Paulson Adebo most of the time, I believe, at least half of the snaps. 2 receptions, 4 targets, 27 yards. He was basically a non-factor, but it didn't matter because, the only stat that matters is wins or losses. And I'm just not happy. I'm not showing any, there's nothing to be happy about as Giants fans, right? I don't even, I don't know how much longer I can do this. It's so disappointing. The only bright spot I could say was our defensive line, and they weren't what we expected them to be. Obviously, I believe Brian Burns had an amazing game. 2 sacks, came in the first half, and when the game ran away from us in the second half, I believe there's an excuse for him to not even try. Right? I'm not saying he wasn't trying. He probably was, but 2 sacks, great game from him. Great statistical game. Abdul Carter with his first start, he had half a sack, 3 pressures, and he got a blocked punt. Right? So I believe that's an amazing first game from him. Kayvon also had half a sack. Dexter Lawrence, I don't have his stats up here, But, I believe Dexter Lawrence will be Dexter Lawrence. I don't think his name was mentioned a lot this game, but I believe their whole game plan was around Dexter Lawrence. I believe they just double teamed him and triple teamed him like there was no tomorrow. So when you do that, when you do that successfully, it's gonna work, right? And that's what I believe. That's what led to Brian Burns getting those 2 sacks, was just focusing and locking in on Dexter Lawrence and just make sure he was gonna be a non-factor, and he kind of was. So even when you game plan for him to be a non-factor, he's still kind of a factor because other players benefit from him not being mentioned in the game. So that's why our D line is so good and so nice. So you know, but obviously none of this matters with a loss, as I said many times. The offensive line was abysmal, just straight up trash. 45 dropbacks. They allowed 22 pressures. That's basically half. That's basically 50% of dropbacks who were being either pressured, having Russell Wilson evade the pocket, or just taking sacks. It's unbelievable, man. We allowed 2 sacks. I believe it should have been 5. Just obviously with Andrew Thomas being out for today's game with the leg injury, I'm not even sure he plays until week 3 at this point. He came in doubtful coming into this game, and he didn't feel like he could go. So I don't want him to do any more than he should. Some notes that I took during this game, on key downs, the Shane Bone was taking off his best players. Like we had DJ Davidson and Roy Robertson Harris on a key third. Like we only had Kayvon Thibodeau on those plays, I guess, when it came to those third downs, and it allowed the Commanders to easily get the first downs on major key third downs that we could have gotten to give our offense a chance to score. I believe we had DJ Davidson and Roy Robertson Harris and Kayvon, and Abdul Carter was being a QB spy and not even rushing the passer on a key third down. Just makes no sense from Shane Bowen. I believe he should be fired at the end of the season. I don't even know why we hired him in the first place. I don't even think we were supposed to hire him in the first place, but we just ended up doing it. James Hudson in place of Andrew Thomas sucks. I don't know why we paid him that amount of money. I believe it was 2 years, $12 million, $6 million per year. I believe he's one of the highest paid swing tackles in the league. Don't know why he sucks. I just can't wait for Andrew Thomas to come back. It'll add some stability to our offensive line. I forgot to mention. I was supposed to mention this first. Michael McFadden had a scary injury today. I believe he got carted off in an air cast. Everybody was surrounding him. Giving saying their goodbye, like not goodbyes, but they were dabbing him up and stuff like that. But reports came out later that the injury wasn't as serious as it looked. So that is good news to hear. But I expect him to be out for a few weeks. Just taking it easy with him. And the offense couldn't just get anything going, right? No matter what they did, if they wanted to run, pass, screen passes were getting batted down. There was one drive, I believe on the second drive, it was the best drive of the game. They had like 11 plays, 80-something yards. They had 4 tries to get to the end zone. They didn't do it, and on one of those final plays, that we got a free first down, because I think Demetrius, I forgot to say his name, but Wise Jr., the defensive line for the Commanders, he had illegal hands to the face, Jermaine Illuminor, which gave us another 4 tries, and we weren't able to score. We ended up settling for a field goal. That basically means we had 8 tries to get 10 yards to score 7 points, and we could not do that. I don't know. One of those attempts where it's the rookie 5th round pick Marcus Bowe. Those were one of the attempts on an actual goal line snap. Like maybe preseason you could try that, but this is the regular season we're talking about. We're trying to get wins. We're trying to it's just questionable play calling by Mike Kafka there. I don't know what he was thinking. But I think that, or actually I know that they know better than me. But at the same time, that's something that probably a 5-year-old would have drawn up, Again, questionable play calling from Shane Bowen. On the other hand, we have Brian Burns having his amazing game. I believe after he got his first sack, we immediately drop him back into coverage guarding Zach Ertz, I believe, I believe Deebo Samuel had the completion with Brian Burns in coverage. Don't know what he's doing there. Just a bad game all around. They got out coached, they got out schemed, they got outplayed. Basically everything that you could think of, the Commanders did better than the Giants today. And now we have to verse the Dallas Cowboys in week 2. Yay, right? It's just that's gonna be a slaughter. We might lose. We might lose 70-0. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. And reports came out from Adam Schefter when reporters asked Brian Dable about Jackson Dart possibly playing in week 2. He didn't rule it out. He didn't say that, but he also didn't give an exact answer on whether or not Russell Wilson was going to be the committed starter for week 2. Brian Dable does have some quotes saying like the loss was not on him, and he still has full confidence in him, which is what you're supposed to say. You're not gonna sign Russell Wilson and then just absolutely bail on him in the first after the first week of the season, right? So that's what's expected. But we might see Jackson Dart by week 4 or 5 if this just goes on. Maybe possibly by week 3 because organizations love to panic and they love to bring. Sorry, excuse me. They love to bring their young QB in whenever their franchise seems to be in shambles. So we'll see you next week. Dallas Cowboys 1 o'clock Sunday. I could actually wait for that one because I don't want that to come. I'm gonna be honest. We already know that's gonna be a loss. Hopefully they prove me wrong. But yeah, if you guys like this video, make sure you guys comment, like, subscribe. It'll be really appreciated. And man, we gotta go through another 16 weeks of this. Hopefully not, but that's what it's looking like for now. But until then, let's go Big Blue.